Ohio State is streamlining its NIL game to stay on top and keep its competitive edge sharp.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in, Buckeye fans, to your Tuesday edition of Locked On Buckeyes, which is your daily Ohio State podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, veteran sports talk host, delivering passionate coverage about your Buckeyes. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. During today's show, we will discuss Ohio State's commitment to keep the competitive edge following the House settlement. But first, Ohio State's one of those schools around the country that has strong collectives helping athletes capitalize on their name, image, and likeness. The 1870 Society and the Foundation both do great work in this area. Well, Ohio State, like other schools, is going to be starting a new journey on July 1st where they'll be able to directly share revenue with the athletes inside the athletic department. And instead of waiting and trying to figure out what the new age is going to look like, Ohio State partnered with Learfield to form the Buckeye Sports Group. And the Buckeye Sports Group is going to consolidate the existing NIL collectives in the 1870 Society and the Foundation into one NIL management team within the athletic department. Founding members of both collectives will serve in advisory roles under the Buckeye Sports Group. And I know a lot of this is new, or a lot of this is coming at you fast. You might be saying, Jay, are you sure this is good, or do you even think this is a good idea? I 100% believe this is a great idea. And no, this is not me sipping the Kool-Aid or being a Buckeye. I believe going forward, every school should be able to handle every NIL deal in-house. There should be no reason at all why NIL deals should be contracts should be signed for NIL deal, and it's not something that went through the athletic department. Because let's keep it in mind, these athletes are still student athletes. They're still getting their school paid via the university, and with the university already investing thousands of dollars in these athletes just via the education alone, why wouldn't you think the school would be great to handle things in-house via the athletic department? Now, they're on the flip side of it. You may be saying, Jay, maybe there might be people on the outside of Ohio State that can handle this better than those inside Ohio State. That's a reality. But you know what you could do right there? Hire people to help you with this new journey. Mind blown. I mean, you're sitting here like, oh, man. No, this is the truth. There's no reason why Ohio State or other schools out there should shy away from handling NIL deals in-house. And I like that Ross Bjork is a forward-thinking director of athletics, and he's not waiting 3 or 4 years to try to figure out what the new lay of the land is before making a move. No, he is jumping right away. And I was kind of shocked it happened this quickly. Now, everyone knew at some point the House settlement would be completed and the judge would sign off and do what judges do to make sure that thing actually happened. The July 1st date was one that was believed to be the date revenue sharing would start. Just weren't sure when the court date, everything that went on in court would be finished. Well, it happened. July 1st is almost here. And I think Ohio State's on the right track. Remember, this is not just for football players or men's basketball players or women's basketball players, softball players, baseball players, members of the rowing team, men and women on the track and field teams. This is for every athlete. Ohio State has 36 varsity sports. It's not going to mess up their scholarships. They're still going to be on scholarship. They're still going to be able to make money off their name, image, and likeness. This will also really help the clearinghouse where deals over $600 will have to be approved via the clearinghouse. This will be one of those things that I believe is huge moving forward. And there might be other schools around the country. Well, I have not looked closely at all of them to see what their path is. But there might be other schools around the country that see what Ohio State is doing and saying, we can do the same thing. We have smart people inside our athletic department, or we have the funds to be able to hire people from the outside to come inside to help us with this new journey. Because it's new, and as you know with college football, this sport's changing very, very fast. I mean, literally, we had a weird seeding bracket for the first year of the 12-team playoff. Gonna have straight seeding in the 2025 season, and the college football playoff still a 12-team format, but it's going to be straight seeding. But then in 2026, we're still unsure what the format's going to be. We know the Big Ten and the SEC have the cards in their hands. Just got to figure out which one they want to put down on the table. This sport's weird, man. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I wouldn't be hosting the show if I was not a big boy fan of college football. But let me just tell you, some of this stuff is weird that's going on. And I'm not here to try to be negative here on a Tuesday, especially a Tuesday in the summer. It's nice outside. Had some rain recently. I know people at the recruiting camps on Monday, there was some rain that just was there. And it was just, hey, we got to work in the rain, got to get this stuff going on. And weather's been a little weird. This year has been as hot at this time of year as we expect. We had rain in March and April and May. It still got a lot of rain in June. All that's weird. College football is weird. But what's not weird is Ross Bjork thinking ahead. He also knows that his voice is very powerful as he is leading the athletic department at Ohio State. So it wouldn't shock me if moving forward, if Ross Bjork makes some really big statements in regards to what the best move should be for the sport. And I'm thinking about the collectives themselves, and if people 5 or 10 years down the road will look back and say, oh yeah, the collectives, oh man, they were great in theory, but man, they wasn't really that great in practice. And I know Urban Meyer made some choice comments about the collectives and how he wasn't a big fan of them, and I'm right there with him. Like, when I heard collectives, it literally seemed a way to kind of cover up, to try to legalize or make good the things that shouldn't be happening, because those things were still happening. It's just the money that was being spent or handed over to high school athletes was a lot larger than before. Some kids are getting paid for abnormal things. Plus, that stuff will hopefully be stopped. Hopefully. You can't knock out all of it. It's been going on for decades. But a lot of it will hopefully be stopped via schools like Ohio State getting a group to manage all NIL deals. And moving forward, if I'm a high school athlete, I would want to go to a school that's trying to dot every I, cross every T, make sure nothing wrong is happening. We know schools are going to break rules every now and then accidentally. Some people do it on purpose, but for the most part, some schools, there are rules that are broken. Yeah, you turn yourself in the way Ohio State does, and generally you're fine. Now, I'm not saying they break the rules on purpose. I'm just saying that they realize, hey, we broke this rule, we broke that rule. We better turn ourselves in for this. Well, this ain't one of them times right now for Ohio State to come out here and say, oh, we're going to try to mess up things via the NIL and the Buckeye Sports Group, and we're going to go out here and say, oh, we're going to do whatever we want. We know we got this name and this partnership with Learfield, but we're still the Ohio State University. The rules don't apply to us. Here's where things are different, because if you believe the rules don't apply to us, you're wrong, because the rules apply to Ohio State too. Think back to the weird tattoo gate. I still can't believe that's a real thing. I still can't believe them boys' stats aren't back in the record books. I can't believe those wins have not come back because of the rule. Now, did they break a rule? Yes. They definitely broke a rule. Is it a dumb rule? Dumb rule? Absolutely. The clearinghouse, though, not dumb. The Buckeye Sports Group, not done. Ohio State's partnership with Learfield, great. You know what else is great? Is Ross Bjork's commitment to Ohio State athletics, and we'll discuss that next. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and guys, every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off, and they even have live player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. New to FanDuel? It's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. That's so good, I gotta say it again. New to FanDuel? It's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, guys, you're going to get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Thank you all for tapping Locked on Buckeyes and making this show your first listen of the day. Ohio State has done a great job under Ross Bjork's watch of getting ahead of the game and trying to make the necessary upgrades to raise the facilities, to raise more money, and to make Ohio State a better athletic department. And Ross Bjork on on Monday, my days are all off, put out a statement, and it was something tweeted out by the Ohio State athletic department, a direct quote from Ross Bjork. I'm going to go through this, read the whole thing, and then really just dive into something that sticks out to me about his commitment and Ohio State's commitment with this new venture of revenue sharing with the athletes. Quote, the signing of the House settlement Friday by Judge Claudia Wilkin will reshape collegiate athletics. Ohio State and schools around the country will now be permitted to directly compensate student athletes through revenue sharing, which is actually institutional NIL rights. The Department of Athletics will fully fund the revenue sharing program, which will total $20.5 million and includes funding for additional scholarships for both women's and men's sports. We remain committed to maintaining the student-athlete model, offering 36 intercollegiate sports and providing scholarships to all 36, end quote. And I think a lot of schools around the country are going to be trying to figure out financially what their commitment to all their varsity sports is going to be. Are they going to be a school that has to cut a sport or 2 or 10? Or are they going to have to just focus on the ones that make the most money and then try to figure out, well, if we only got 5 for good? Or is it, hey, we're going to go and make a whole lot of debt to try to make sure we keep all these sports? One of the things Ross Bjork mentioned is that Ohio State will have a fully funded revenue sharing program of $20.5 million. Being able to be in a situation in a school like Ohio State to have a fully funded revenue sharing program is huge, because all of a sudden you have the money. It's not the fact that you don't have the money. It's, well, we either got to find new streams of revenue or we got to spend better. We have to make wiser financial decisions. But I think Ross Bjork is on the right track. Find ways that you can make some money while still playing the football with the schools that are the revenue-making sports, the money makers at Ohio State, while also maintaining the commitment to keep all 36 varsity sports. I love that, man. Think back to the COVID. I don't bring this up that much on any show that I'm on, but I think it's very important to go back to that time period, because one school in mind is Stanford. And I'm not here to knock Stanford. It's just the way the money was made up. Their bank account was set up at the time. They weren't able to keep all the sports. And they were one of the schools that were talking about cutting some sports they were very successful in. Well, why would they do that? Because money. People weren't sure if they were even going to have a season in the 2020-2021 academic calendar or athletic calendar. They were unsure. So if you're unsure and you literally can't bring any money in the big lump sum of money, not via the advertisement, just simply the ticket sales and the concessions and things of that nature, and along with that comes sponsorships. If you can't bring money in that way back then, you realize you had to figure out a way to cut some sports to stay afloat. Well, Ohio State was given the same notice everybody else did. We knew it was going to happen at some point. And Judge Wilkin could have said, hey, we're not going to make this thing final until, October. Well, think about that happening, and then you're in the middle of the season, and then it's November 1st, and, we got to start sharing money with these players? That'd be tough. But getting a little bit of notice and knowing, hey, we are going to be able to, we got the money and commitment to these athletes, I think it's a big way that Ohio State's going to still be able to draw some of the top-notch athletes around the country and the world in all sports. Because if I'm a basketball player or if I'm a tennis player if I'm a baseball player, or if I am a long jumper, would not want to go to a school that is committed to the sport that I am competing in? Absolutely. Think about you as a sophomore in high school right now, and you are a soccer player, really good soccer player, just finished your sophomore year, excuse me, really good soccer player, heading into your junior year, doing some off-season work and doing some traveling around the country before starting your junior year playing soccer in the fall, and you have your eyes set at going to a specific school, knowing that the sport you're playing is not a revenue-making sport, but the school, the college you are looking at currently has that sport. Junior year goes along. All of a sudden, beginning of senior year, still not sure where you want to go. You get to the halfway point in your senior season, and you realize in high school, I want to go to that school. Bam, you commit. Bam, you sign. A couple months before you graduate from high school, there's a report that the school you committed to is cutting that sport that you wanted to play at that school. You literally committed and signed up, but you committed, you signed, you were ready to go, baby. You were ready to start your collegiate athletic career from the moment you signed, but you had to finish high school first. Think about the dagger that would be to you. When you are just dreaming at times of going to that school and playing at the next level and capitalizing on your athletic ability and also making some money at the same time, getting a top-notch education, then all of a sudden you're realizing, man, they don't have it anymore. Back to the drawing board. Now, granted, if you're in that situation, 9 times out of 10, you're going to find another school and another coach that wants you to play for them, and you are going to be able to play soccer at the next level. However, it wasn't your first choice. Now, think about the competitive edge that Ohio State has. And I mentioned Stanford earlier, where Stanford's athletic department is not Ohio State's. One thing I want to mention, though, is they are two power schools in power conferences in the country. We think about football and basketball and others, they're power conference schools. And so if you're a power conference school, you should be doing everything you can to maintain those sports. If you have to sell the naming rights to your football stadium or your basketball stadium or maybe your baseball stadium, do it. I understand there are people that are going to be fans of those sports or fans of those schools or boosters maybe that might push back very, very hard. I get it. If they push back hard, you could also offer them the opportunity to buy the naming rights to the stadium. Why? It's an easy way to make money and to boost the funds inside your athletic department. And I keep mentioning that over and over because sooner than you think, you're going to hear there's going to be a report that Ohio State has sold the naming rights to X company for Ohio Stadium. It's going to happen. I know for a fact people won't like it, but it's going to happen. It's a part of the change that's going to come that needs to happen. And I love Ross Bjork's commitment to all 36 sports because if I am on the rowing team or if I am on the track and field team or if I am on the lacrosse team, I would be very, 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 very nervous if I hear the school that I'm going to is going to have a salary cap of $20.5 million, where 13 to 16 million of that will be reserved for the football team. And I'm sitting here wondering, how are they going to do that and keep all these sports and the scholarships? The Buckeyes just upped their scholarship number in November. How? I'd be nervous about losing my spot, but no. Ohio State and Ross Bjork are committed to keeping all 36 sports. And that, my friends, is a great way for Ohio State to keep their edge because some schools around the country are going to cut sports. And Ohio State's going to be walking around with all 36. While they're keeping all 36 sports, I'm wondering if the Buckeyes are going to be able to keep all those scholarships. We'll dive into that next. This episode is brought to you by Epicor. Every team knows the value of hard work, of taking pride in what you build, and practicing every detail to get the best results. But no one player, no matter how amazing, can do it all alone. Working together makes getting the win easier. At Epicor, the All-Stars are the hard-working manufacturers and distributors who create and deliver the things we all need, from aerospace to electrical to medical devices. Epicor ERP solutions are created by industry experts to help make every day easier. Seeing your whole supply chain is easier. Managing logistics is easier. Responding to price changes is easier. From small businesses with big dreams to growing enterprises with global vision, we'll equip you with the right tools to move forward, think ahead, and lead the way. Because as the clock ticks down, you need to make the most of every hard-working minute. Easier doesn't cut corners, easier takes the lead. Discover your success at www.easierwithepicor.com. That's www.easierwithepicor.com. Thank y'all for tapping and Locked on Buckeyes and making this show your first listen of the day. Ohio State's athletic department. Very wealthy, very successful, and they have a guy leading the ship that has a different mindset, but it's the right mindset for the moment. Some things are going to be a little bit odd. Some things are going to be a big financial hit, but they're the right things that need to happen. And I'm not all in on a lot of things. Y'all know that. But I am all in on Ross Bjork making sure all 36 sports have scholarships. I ain't saying full rides because there are going to be partial scholarships handed out. But trust me, trust you me, Ross Bjork is not only committed to all 36 sports, but also committed to keeping scholarships with all 36. And as a guy yesterday kind of went on a little bit of a tangent about the ability to have your education paid for. It would be a loss in the competitive edge for Ohio State if Ohio State had to be a school that had to reduce the number of scholarships or maybe say, hey, your rowing team, no scholarship available of any kind athletic-wise. Track and field team, I know you were the state champion 2 times in the 100-meter dash at your school, but young lady, we can't provide you a scholarship anymore. And it would be one of those things you're thinking, wait, I've dreamed of going to Ohio State. My parents athletes at Ohio State. And all of a sudden, you're telling me, due to this revenue sharing journey and venture that's going to be starting in Ohio State athletics and really around the country, you are no longer able to provide me a scholarship? You would see so many athletes at some of the sports that you may not think about being at Ohio State going elsewhere. It's not because I think the other school is better. It's because it makes more financial sense. And I think Ross Bjork's onto something. Now, the fundraising efforts I've talked about, I'm going to keep talking about it because it's not going anywhere. That's going to be probably a 3 to 5 to 10-year project. Trust me, it's not going to be just an overnight thing. Ross Bjork took over for Gene Smith before last season, athletic season. And about a year and a half later, you're hearing him talk about some things that are going to happen in Ohio Stadium. Just got a video posted by the basketball team where they're going to be getting a new court. Cool. I love new court designs. Are they going to get new jerseys too? I wouldn't be mad about that. I like their jerseys. But change, sometimes it's good. And changing the scholarship number or reducing scholarships for certain athletes? Nah. Not at all. He also said another thing, that the Buckeyes are committed to maintaining the student-athlete model. And that's one that that's going to be interesting to see and kind of see how the athletes go. Do you see GPAs fall because players are making more money, or because they have to do more appearances, or they have to sign more things, or they have to do more things to make more money? Do the GPAs fall? I sure hope not. But also, that model is very, very, very important. Because if you take that away, you're also taking away something very vital that makes Ohio State one of the best universities in the country, which is you can go there, be an elite athlete, get a full ride, or get some money via an athletic scholarship while getting a top-notch education that's paid for. You want to keep that student-athlete model. Because I think the closer and closer and closer you get to professionalizing collegiate athletics, you're going to get a result, and you're going to get people running this thing that you might not want running it. Now, I do think that revenue sharing is not yes, it is a thing where you can maybe mess up the amateur model where collegiate athletics are never going to be the same, which is true. But I am an advocate of places of higher learning providing extracurriculars. Wow, I normally get that thing coming out smooth out my mouth. Not sure what's going on today, but you want them to provide some extracurricular activities that are on the athletic side of things. You want that. So maintaining the student athlete model, that model's not broke. I know there's a lot of people out there that say the NCAA is corrupt. Let's keep this in context. While the NCAA does not do the things that they should do at times, they also do a lot of good things. A lot of them. The NCAA tournament. We're literally right now watching the Women's College World Series is over. Then now the College World Series. Those things are put on by the NCAA. D1, D2, D3. The NCAA does a great job of managing and leading and organizing sports. Yes, the conferences are very, very vital, and they are part of under the NCAA umbrella as far as the season starting and the tournaments and the postseason and some things in season. Yes, they're part of that too. The NCAA is not all corrupt at all. You know who really runs college football? Let's get into this really quickly because this has been on my mind. Yeah, the student athlete model is good. Keeping all 36 sports, that needs to happen. Having a fully funded revenue sharing program, that's great. You know what is a little bit puzzling to me? Is people blame the NCAA for college football, but you know who runs college football? The conferences. There is a reason why the Big Ten and the SEC have the ability to create the format for the playoff of 2026 because the conferences and the ADs run the sport. Yes, there are still some things that are under the NCAA's watch, rules and fractions and things of that nature. They are kind of the disciplinarian, which is why people don't like the NCAA at times because they are bringing down the hammer or they're not bringing down the hammer when they need to. Conferences do the same thing. So y'all blaming the NCAA when we can talk about things on this show that the Big Ten should have done via punishment that they didn't do. Oh, the NCAA, you can handle this. We'll just do a little bit. A lot of the stuff we talked about today on today's show is great. Financial boost for athletes, great. Maintaining all 36 sports, the Buckeye Sports Group, keeping the student athlete model, keeping scholarships for all 36 sports, all that stuff is great. The one thing that really annoys me about the sport is that it's run by conferences, and what do the conferences do? Look out for themselves. If it was 4 different divisions or 4 different conferences under the umbrella of one governing body, I don't believe we would be in the mess we're currently in. Call it the College Football Association, CFA. I know the CSC is one thing right now. Call it the CFA. You know what you're going to find? You still may have those conferences, Big Ten, SEC, ACC, Big 12, Pac-12, Mountain West, if they even get in that thing. You're still going to have those conferences and those names. But what is it going to be? A way to divide the teams via geographic regions, as well as making sure you can keep some of the same stuff that's happened in this sport for decades. I hope at some point people realize the NCAA is, yes, they're not the best organization. They make a lot of things wrong, get a lot of things wrong, but they also get a lot of things right. Thank you for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen for the day. For your second listen, check out the portal because my guy, Brian Smith, has the latest rumors, portal entries, and signings. Be the most informed fan on the rapid changes to the college football landscape. Find the portal and Locked On Buckeyes on the YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow me on any social media platform at jstevens07. Send every email to jstevens317@gmail.com. This has been Locked On Buckeyes right here on a Tuesday. We'll see you next time.